Yeah.
I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won. Yeah. I hope my team they won. Yeah. Man, I hope my team they won. I hope my team they won. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with this hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. We'll get into this a little bit here. I want to say welcome to episode 444 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast. The show that's covering the sporting HBCU dash for all things HBCU sports. For institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA, we share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture, HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, along with my co-host, Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to our KCOH 30 a.m. studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer, multi-Hall of Famer Ralph Cooper. Shout out to Ralph Cooper with the SWAC shirt on from T2 Tickets today, as he was doing a broadcast today talking about the Astros and the success. A lot of folks had their Astro gears on. He had his SWAC gear on. Shout out to Ralph, making sure he makes that statement. You know he going to do it his way. In the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. With that being said, Mike, how you doing today?
I'm good, Doc. What's going on? What's new? It's Thursday. The weather's beautiful. When we midway through the football season, couldn't be much better.
Beautiful.
And go Astros. We got the Battle of Texas.
Yeah, Charles like the Astros, but they're a little nervous with them Atlanta Braves right now.
I am. I'm super nervous with the Braves. I knew that was going to be a rough matchup with the Phillies. I knew it.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree totally with that. You knew they're going in at different fighting level. The other thing that is troubling is the teams that have finished with 100 wins on the season have been falling like flies. So you like that doesn't help you with the motion of the year. With that being said, Charles, how you doing?
Doing well, Doc. It's homecoming. We're in the midst of homecoming season. So shout out to all my friends and family coming into Jackson this weekend for homecoming. So, I'm looking forward to everybody enjoying themselves in Jackson this weekend. Jackson State has a big homecoming game in Alabama State this weekend.
Good stuff. That being said, let's get into some of the news today. Kind of touched on it on Tuesday with Voorhees, but looks like we got more information coming in terms of the GCAC. Kind of teased this a little bit out as well on Tuesday, but now, with passing an embargo, we can get it out to the people. Starting with you, Mike, what are your thoughts in terms of what's taking place?
Oh, my goodness. You're talking holy conference expansion with those two. Holy increasing footprint, increasing opportunities to have more spring sports such as softball, the ability to garner more TV scholarships. I think this is big for the GCAC, adding Stillman and Voorhees. So nothing, hats off to the GCAC, Dr. Kiki Barnes, and the direction they're headed. But I saw that thing come across my wire, and I was like upset. I was like, I wish I'd have been in the know, been in that small fly in the room to hear all the factors, the business factors that went into this decision. But nothing but excitement with the addition of Stillman and Voorhees with the possibilities.
Yeah, good points there. Charles, Mike talked about Stillman announcement today. Obviously, started out this yesterday with Voorhees, and then on Tuesday in terms of Wilberforce. What were your thoughts in terms of how they rolled this out? Purposely, obviously, you could tell stair step with a school of the day so they could get their own independent love and showcase, and then you magnify everything with the announcement today in regards to not only was Stillman coming back to the GCAC, which is a statement in itself, but also the fact that they'll be hosting the basketball tournament next year in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, it was like a slow buildup, and it kind of reminded me of drum roll, please. And so you had the first announcement, then you had the next wave, and then you had the capstone today. So I take my hat off to Dr. Kiki Baker Barnes, GCAC. I mean, the upward expansion is tremendous, and I think one of the things that jumped out at me was the statement from Terrence Whittle, the director of athletics at Stillman. And as something that you touched on, I was like, wow, he must have really been sitting in Doc's class, because he talked about the athletic footprint, the geographic location, institutional values, academic standards, historical lineage, all aligned with GCAC. And that jumped out for me. So, that was, I was like, oh, wow, those are touchstones that I've heard within class. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Taking the class or getting some cheat codes from the show. Maybe we think a little bit too much of ourselves, but hey, we'll dream on and put it out there. With that being said, we might have a little video play in terms of the actual announcement with the band at Stillman and with the full gym. Everybody's excited about it. So we can play that now. Or we can play that in a little bit. We'll get back into it. Let me go back to you, Charles, in terms of some of the players of the week. Let's jump into that. In terms of that announcement, we'll come back with that later.
Sure thing. Let's take a look at the SWAC weekly football honors. The SWAC is named Florida A&M's Jeremy Musa, Alabama State's Colton Adams, and Jayton John, along with Jackson State's Irv Mulligan, as his SWAC football players of the week with their impressive performance during this games played this past weekend. Let's take a look at Jeremy Musa. He completed 31 passes for 325 yards and 2 touchdowns, and FAMU's big 26-19 win over Southern. On the defensive side, Colton Bubba Adams, he recorded double-figure tackles for the 4th time, in 5 games this season as Alabama State defeated Bethune-Cookman. He contributed 13 total tackles, I should say, highlighted by 6 solo stops, a sack, and 2 tackles for a loss. He also blocked a field goal for extra to get SWAC Defensive Player of the Week. The specialist, Jayden John, also from Alabama State. He kicked 2 24-yard field goals in Alabama State's 19-14 win over Bethune-Cookman. His 4th quarter field goal put the Hornets ahead by a score of 19-14 with 14:20 left. And the newcomer of the week is Irv Mulligan from Jackson State. He contributed 23 carries for 115 yards, along with a long run of 24 yards to help lead Jackson State to a 45-30 win over Alabama A&M in the Gulf Coast Challenge. Those are your SWAC football players of the week.
Nice stuff. Shout out to the SWAC football players of the week. Mike, let's go to you and give some love to the MEAC. What did the MEAC players of the week look like?
Well, we can't slight the MEAC, but let's start with the MEAC players of the week. First, let's start off with North Carolina Central quarterback Davis Richard. Big surprise. He was named MEAC Offensive Player of the Week, presented by Coca-Cola, of course. Then we had Howard defensive back Carson Hinton, who earned Defensive Player of the Week honors, and North Carolina Central's Torricelli Simpkins, not the first, not the second, but the third. That's Simpkins the third, who received Offensive Lineman of the Week accolades. So it starts off with Mr. Davis Richard, the 6'3" quarterback, amassed 285 yards of total offense and recorded 4 TDs in their road win over Norman 25 Elon. He averaged almost 10.5 yards per carry with 114 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns on 11 carries, while completing 21 of 35 passes for 171 yards. A nice, solid day for the QB. Then we had Mr. Hinton. He registered a game-high 8 tackles, 6 solo, including 2 tackles for a loss of 15 yards against Northwestern. And then again, Mr. Simpkins III. That's Torricelli Simpkins III. Offensive lineman, 6'4" type, recording a blocking grade of 85% for all assignments with 3 pancake blocks. Besides the kill in volleyball, that pancake blocks stat is one of my favorite stats. Anyway, I digress. as he anchored the Eagles' offensive line that accounted for 378 yards of top total offense. So congratulations to those three or four individuals. Other top performers, Eden James from Howard, rushed for 177 yards on 121 carries, plus one TD, one in the payday. So congratulations to the MEAC Players of the Week.
Good stuff. You talk about pancake and kills. Since we did the pancakes, let's do the kills in volleyball, Charles. What do you got?
No doubt. SWAC announced their weekly volleyball honors. The SWAC has named Alabama State's Jada Rose and Madison Beasley, along with Florida A&M's Brooke Hudson and Yanni Sanford, as their SWAC volleyball weekly honors for their impressive performances this past week of conference play. Let's take a look at the offensive player of the week. Jada Rose, she recorded double-digit kills in all three Alabama State matches at the SWAC cluster this past week, finishing with 49 total kills for the week. She finished with a season-high 22 kills against Prairie View A&M while hitting 34%. Wow. Defensive player of the week is Madison Beasley, I should say. I'm sorry. That's the setter of the week. Beasley finished with 96 total assists over the weekend, averaging 8.72 assists per set. She recorded a career-high 50 assists against Prairie View and added 27 assists against Texas Southern and 19 assists against Southern. Brooke Hudson, FAMU's Brooke Hudson, she was the defensive player of the week, recorded at least 20 digs in all three matches at the SWAC cluster this past weekend, highlighted by a season-high 34 in the Rattlers win over Southern. She finished the SWAC cluster with, get this, Doc, 86 digs and 14 sets of play. Newcomer of the week is Sanford. She recorded 10-plus kills in all three matches at the SWAC cluster this past weekend. She tallied a season-high 17 kills against Texas Southern and a match-high 16 kills versus Prairie View. So those are your SWAC volleyball players of the week.
Man, impressive. Shout out to the SWAC ladies. Mike, yeah, I guess you're going to have to do this for the MEAC men. MEAC women.
Yeah, but I just want to say, point of order, who's number one in the SWAC in kills? Tylee Owens from the Hill. Prairie View A&M, number one in kills. My stat. Anyway, MEAC also announced its weekly volleyball honors. Maryland Eastern Shore Jr. Randy Griggs was named the MEAC Player of the Week, presented by Coca-Cola. Again, can't forget that. Delaware State's Ella Sanders was named Rookie of the Week, and Coppin State's senior Andrea Svetnova was named Setter of the Week. Coppin State sophomore Layla Ibrahim was earned Defensive Player of the Week honors, respectively. Now, Ms. Griggs, of course, averaged 3.67 kills per set. Not bad stats. 33 of 59 attempts, over 9 sets played last week. She led all players with a season-high 19 kills in the 5-set win over North Carolina Central, while also adding a service ace, 2 blocks, 2 digs. I repeat, service ace, 2 blocks, and 2 digs. She recorded 14 kills in 4 sets, hitting just 21%, along with 3 blocks, 1 dig, and a win over South Carolina State. Now, of course, Delaware State's Ella Sanders averaged 2.83 kills, 0.83 aces, 1.83 digs per set to aid Delaware State to a 2-0 finish last week. She hit an impressive 55.556 with a match high of 11 kills, along with 2 aces, 2 digs, and a win against South Carolina State. Sanders led Delaware State with 9 digs and 3 service aces to go along with the 6 kills. And then Svetanova recorded a match-high 37 assists. That's big. 12.33 average. I think that's tops in the MEACs. With 2 kills, 3 digs, 1 block, and 2 aces in the win over Norfolk State that gave Coppin State sole possession of first in the MEAC standings. She also averaged 11.33 in assists, 34 total, and a win over Howard. For the week, Svetanova racked up 71 assists, 2 kills, 2 aces, 2 blocks, 7 digs, a Frenchie's 3-piece with hot sauce, and the Frenchy fries to go on top. Those are your MEAC volleyball win of the week.
Hey, you get player of the week honors for keep saying Spetnova. Good job.
Did a great job on that. You got me hungry, ready to go to Frenchies too. I might over there after work. Now you got me thinking about it. Let me give these SWAC announcement honors for the soccer side of things. Southwestern Athletic Conference's tab Grambling State's Carolyn Judge Naia Villalba, I should say, Madison Corey Taylor, along with Jackson's Kendall Terrell of SWAC Soccer weekly honors for their outstanding performance during the past week. Judge contributed a stellar week for Grambling this past week as she helped the Tigers remain unbeaten in the league play. She scored 2 goals during the week, including a lone goal in the Tigers' 1-0 victory for Alcorn. She's playing some good stuff. Co-offensive player Terrell scored 2 goals for the Lady Tigers this past week as JSU remained unbeaten in the conference play as well. Defensively, the Alva played a complete game during Grambling State's 2-1 win over Louisiana Tech. Check that out, the first in school history. She also helped GSU secure a shutout victory over the Braves with her exceptional play defensively. Goalkeeper Kobe Taylor assisted the Tigers in defeating Louisiana Tech, Mississippi Valley State, Alcorn State this past week. She played 225 minutes in goal, contributing 11 saves and surrendered just 1 goal in those 3 matchups. Shout out to the SWAC women players of the week as they got it going on. With that being said, shout out to the lab listeners. Shout out to AD Drew dropping some of their knowledge in terms of GCAC. He talked about it early, and every day we get announcement. He's like, they not done. So, oh, wow. Shout out to him. Shout out to my business partner over there as well in the East Coast, Bill Parker, checking us out. Appreciate the love. With that being said, we'll give some shout out to the lab listeners as they continue to check us out. As we go on the break, play a little bit of the Stillman announcement with GCAC. With the band, they're excited with the fans in there. And then we'll come back on the other side after the commercial in this play as well.
Ultra Soft has so much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember. They can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft.
Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody. Sorry.
Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more, but it's so absorbent, you can use less, so it's always worth it.
Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go, why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
At CDW, we get speed as the new currency of success.
Our team spends way too much time tending to outdated applications and software when they should be focused on driving application agility and innovation.
CDW Amplified Development Services modernizes software and application development to help accelerate innovation and digital transformation.
So you mean building new applications, UI, and mobile interfaces?
Well, you said you needed to innovate more quickly.
Oh, so he's a listener.
To do more at scale, trust CDW Amplified Development Services.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna law, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon'.
This is Dr. Ville inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. Let's get into the mid-major marching sport. band releases today. Should be interesting. We got a big matchup on ESPN. According to the Marching Band Championship, it'll be a top 10 matchup. We'll see if it matches what we got going on here. With that being said, we do have one band that is dropping out. Talladega, shout out to them. Want to give them some love, but unfortunately, they just don't have a lot of matchups. It's coming to that end where they are actually dropping out of the polls. You saw a slow slide as things transition in that way, but receiving votes. Kentucky State, Mighty Marching Thoroughbreds are 1-0. Fayetteville State Marching Bronco Express got a big victory, conference victory this past weekend as they showed out. Savannah State, powerhouse of the South, 1-1 on the season. As they were in action, they are outside looking in at 89. Let's get in the top 7. The new band to the top 7 comes in at number 7. Albany State Golden Rams, Marching Show Band, 1-0 on the season, 1-0 in terms of the conference race. Have an intriguing matchup. If they bring the band, they have one this week. We'll see what this looks like. 105 points, not ranked. They jump in the top 5. Big change here. Number 6, Benedict Marching Tiger Bands of Distinction, 1-0. They fall 3 spots, 105 points. The football team came on the road to Miles, got it done. They had a chance to have a great matchup, top 7 matchup with the band, Miles, and unfortunately, they did not get on the road to do their duty, support their team, get it done, particularly this year. So it hurt them as they fall this week at spot number 6. They were previously ranked 2, as you see that. At number 5, Atlanta Mighty Marching Panther Bands. They remain at 5, but it'll be interesting to see if they can maintain that. They have a couple of chances, too, to get on the road, get into the mix. We'll see what it looks like there. And number 4, Winston-Salem State, the Red Sea of the Sound, 2-1, 1-0, 117 points. They remain at number 4. But jumping up is number 3, the Virginia State Trojan Explosion, 2-1. After their win and matchup, they even get a first-place vote, 133 points. They move up 4 spots from number 7 this past weekend. They've been in action the last couple of weeks and showing out as they're doing it. And number 2, Miles Purple Marching Machine, 2-1, 1-0. 3 first-place votes, 141 points. 2 first-place votes. They were at home, so I don't put a lot on them. If they don't get on the road, I'll talk about them. But they've traveled quite a bit already this year. Let's see if they continue to get it done. Credit to what they're going on, and they're at number 2. Bringing us to Langston Marching Pride, 2-0, 1-0, 4 place votes, 142 points. They continue to stay at number 1, getting it done. But I'm sure that they'll probably be dropping if other folks have more competition. It's not likely that they'll have a chance to get theirs on. With that being said, let me go to you first, Charles. What are your thoughts in terms of the mid-major division, top 7 programs? New one in there with Albany, Golden Rams Marching Show. What are your thoughts this week in week number 6 for the HBCU mid-major marching sport? Top bands, top 7 poll rankings.
Yeah, shout out to my sister checking in tonight. She's keeping a close eye on Virginia State. We might have one in the family looking at Virginia State. All right, nephew. Shout out to my nephew up there in Virginia. Trojan Explosion.
Nice.
Let me see some teams that you are on the radar because your football teams are very good. Albany State, Miles, Virginia Union, Fort Valley, Tuskegee, Virginia State, and Benedict. Got to put your bands on the road if you got something on the road. I want to see, some battles going down the stretch. Your teams are all in the top tier, top 7 of HBCU mid-majors. Got to get those bands out there to support the team, period, point blank.
And they have big-time matchups, Charles. It's not like you just get on the match. You got a reason to get there. And they're going to be playing some fierce competitions. So you're talking about doubling down. One, to show out your showcase, your marching sport, but then to support the band, which ultimately could give you a chance to have an excellent event in terms of the championship weekend. Yeah. And with all that lined up, you can find yourself in Atlanta on Friday. So this is for a lot in regards to how you can really take the next step to get your band out there. So I love the points you made on that. Mike,
eyeballs
in terms of good stuff. What'd you say, Charles?
I said the eyeballs will be on you.
You know when the eyes on you, you better show up.
You better show up. Yeah.
Mike, what are your thoughts in terms of the top 7 in week number 6, mid-major?
Doc, you know I love you, right? You know I love you, right? You do.
Yes.
You do know this, right?
I do. This must be painful.
I don't agree. I don't agree with this poll at all. When you got Tuskegee, Virginia State, Albany at the bottom, not it, but I understand why it's right because of your little thing. They gotta perform that week. That little stat right there. But if we're talking musicianship, volume, and other factors, I'm thinking Tuskegee, Fort Valley, Albany. I'm thinking Virginia State all be up there. So I don't know why Langston's number 1. But I understand they're on the road. They take their band, they perform. I get it. I just don't agree with it.
See, that's what happens when you are one of the most popular individuals on campus at Prairie View University, particularly in your class. You know what I'm saying? He come in there, just starting stuff. He's an engineer, smart, helping folks with calculus and studying. Then he happens. At that time, I can literally say this. He pledged. I mean, they walked the yard. This is when it was legal. He was the ace. They come out there, doing his thing. He's stepmaster. See, when you're popular, you like that. You don't want no competition. You know what I'm saying? You don't believe that there got to be competition. I come along into the fraternity. I believe the work. I need some competition. Mike was like, watch out, son. I'm here. Now he wants to transition this to the band. No, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. You had your day. You had your day. It's fine. We ain't talking about competition, buddy. This is where I win. Competition. With that being said, we're going to go to our next break, come back on the other side and talk about some more competition on the football field, the mid-major matchups of the week. See what Mike has to say about that. See if you don't want the game to be played. Talk about, hey, just pick somebody to win. Stick with us. Be right back after this break.
Tight spot.
Watch this.
Of course your Buick parks itself. That's so you.
It's just up here on the right.
Of course you know where we're going. That's so you.
Kinda got a sixth sense.
And a head-up display.
They're here.
Hit the field, warm up. You brought all these players in your Buick?
Yeah.
So you.
It is.
There's a Buick that fits your life because at the heart of every Buick SUV is you.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
So we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door. Tell them I'm hungry.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna loud and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Mills inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Before we get into the games of the week, Mike said he had a point of privilege. So
yeah, I want to address I want to address Raymond, a.k.a. Mr. G. Boom Holly, that little spot in the chat where you said Mike don't know nothing about bands. Well, Mr. G. Boone Holly, Mr. Band alumni from Prairie View A&M, Mr. former band member, what are your Panthers going to do when they go on the road to fam? Are they going? Guess where they going in the polls? Down, down, down.
Oh, man. He former drum major. He all that. He National Alumni Association.
Boom, you better write the check. You better write the check. Gotta make it a storm in Tallahassee.
Yeah. You better pull from that fund, Mr. G. Boom Holly.
This is good. Let's get into the CIAA mid-major division matchup of the week. We're going to talk about Fayetteville State. They've creeped into just outside of the top 7. If I looked at my indicator, they'd be at 9 in terms of their overall strength at this part in week number 6. At number 19, you have Livingston Blue Bears. So Fayetteville, North Carolina, Luther Nick Gerald Stadium, faculty and staff appreciation. Saturday, October 14th at 1 p.m. You have Livingston Blue Bears, 2-4 on the season, 2-2, at Fayetteville State Broncos that are 4-2, 4-0 overall. Sticking with you, Mike, what are your thoughts in terms of the CIAA matchup between Fayetteville State and Livingston Blue Bears?
Well, it's a Fayetteville State win. Here's why. Livingstone, they're about the same in terms of total offense, what they putting out. I mean, you look at it, they're about 9th or 10th. They both putting up 15, 16 points apiece a game.
Yeah.
But Livingstone's allowing 32 points a game on average. They're dead last in the conference. Fayetteville State's not doing too bad, but they're second. They're at least allowing 14, so they're at least making a battle of it. And then you look at the scoring differential in their past 5 or 6 games. It's not impressive, but it's better than Livingstone. So I do give the edge to Fayetteville. I'm sorry, you about to say something, CB?
No, I was agreeing with your point. I mean, I think the biggest thing you take a look at is Livingstone. They're dead last in conference in terms of stopping somebody. So for that reason alone, you have to go with Fayetteville State at home.
Absolutely.
Yeah. To your point, though, Jeff Roberts says Livingstone has won 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
Does that give you any pause, Charles?
Not quite enough as much as I would like for it to be. They step up in weight class, if you will, playing Fayetteville State. So I'm gonna go with Fayetteville State in this one. Although two wins, a little momentum, that was impressive.
Yeah, but Fayetteville State's
Mike,
on a 4
you don't change your mind any?
No, Fayetteville State's on a 4 or 5 game winning streak. So you can make that same argument for Fayetteville State.
To your point, Jeff Roberts, I tried to help that these guys are not feeling. Let's go into the mid-major matchup in the SIAC. It is our long top 7 matchup at the mid-major level. In fact, it's top 5. I like this. Columbia, South Carolina, Charlie W. Johnson Stadium. SIAC Saturday, October 14th at 4 p.m. It's on ESPN 2. It features number 4 Fort Valley State Wildcats at 5-1, 5-0 that have ascended to 4 this week. At number 1, the Benedict Tigers 6-0 and 4-0 that have just been rolling since last year, really. They're just coming off a huge road victory over a previous top 5 ranked team in Miles Golden Bears that have played really good football. Charles, with all that being said, what are your thoughts in terms of this big-time match? Number 4 against number 1.
Feel free to check my sanity if I do any picking against Benedict this upcoming season. That just I don't see a team knocking them off, and that is a good football team that they're playing on Saturday. But that defense, I'm just continuously impressed. Heart-stopping victory at Miles, because I thought if any time this season Benedict could get stopped, it was against Miles. But Luther Denilus, I mean, him coming off the edge, you got Jaden Broughton, Dedrick Starks. It's just too much. I think it's too much to overcome, especially now that you have what Tennisberry called a program-defining win. Now, the sky's the limit for this Benedict Tigers football team the rest of the season.
Mike, what if I told you that both of these teams are undefeated in terms of conference play? Fort Valley State, the Wildcats are 5-0. You know a little bit something about Georgia. You stayed in that area. I know a lot of it is Albany, as you like to say. But the Wildcats just lost the game, goal line wise stance to Tuskegee, or they would actually be 6-0 as well.
And that game is tonight, by the way.
Is there anything I can tell you that, hey, to think about the Wildcats, Mike?
Nice try, Doc. Really nice try. You get an E for effort. Great job. But that's not going to work. Here's why. What if I told you that in terms of defense, Benedict is allowing 6.6, I'll say it again, 6 points a game. 6.2 points a game. The next closest club, Albany State. Defense, allowing your opponents less than that's 2 field goals. That ain't even a touchdown. That is defense. I'm sorry. Then we look at total offense. Fort Valley, Benedict, right there together, scoring and averaging 37 points a game. But that defense, oh my goodness. When you allowing your opponent 6 points, Benedict, defense, allowing 50 yards of rushing per game for their opponents. Where's Fort Valley? You better add about 30 or 40 to that, plus, another Frenchie's 3-piece to that. So statistically, no. They may be close in offensive put out, but I agree with CB. The statistics do not lie. Their defense is top notch.
And that game is tonight, by the way.
Yep.
Yes. I appreciate it. I stand corrected. I got a little excited. I have it prepared to check out tonight so I can see it, to see if the Wildcats can do anything to make you all change your mind.
And during the game tonight. I'm going against my father-in-law, who is a Fort Valley. I've been a couple Fort Valley games. I'm going against my father-in-law. He gonna text me.
Christmas gonna be tough, boy.
I'm about to say, you sure you gonna show up at Thanksgiving now?
I'm thinking about Thanksgiving now, man.
Oh man, let's take our next break as we get side of that. And again, that game is tonight. All you HBCU fans, check it out. It should be a good one. If nothing else, to see how Benedict will continue to get it done in the SIAC. I know some of those Wildcat fans out there said, hold on, not so fast. We got a thing or two to prove. With that being said, those are the games and why you watch them. With that being said, stick with us. We'll be right back on the other side after this next break.
As technology continues to bring changes to the world of education, it's time we also reimagine teacher professional development. Gone are the days of one-size-fits-all learning that can only be accessed at a specific time and place. The Stride PD Center is an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that allow educators to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. The best professional development plans are those that include a level of flexibility and choice for educators. Whether you're a teacher, school, or district, visit us today to take charge of your learning.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter. Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna law, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil inside the HBCU Sports Lab. As the game is kicked off, put one screen with the game, turn the volume down, put our screen on, listen to us, then we'll flip up and watch it together. With that being said, let's get into the major division marching sport for the night in top 7 poll rankings. In week number 6, no team dropped out this week. Not a lot of changes in terms that looks like, but let's get into it. In terms of those receiving votes, we had Howard, the Showtime Marching Band, 2-0 with 132 points. North Carolina A&T, the Blue and Gold Marching Machine at 1-1, as well as FAMU, the Marching 100, outside looking in at 1-1, as they did not go on the road to help and support their football team in Baton Rouge. Although last year Southern didn't come to Tallahassee, but you know, that's a band thing. At some point, you got to be more important about supporting your team than whether the team came to you the year before. With that being said, let's get into it, the top, and see what's going on with the top 7 this week in week number 6. At number 7, we have the aristocrat of bands at number 7, Tennessee State, 2-0, 133 points. At number 7, previously number 1 was Norfolk State. The Spartans, we'll see if they stay there. If that's the case, which I can tell you in the top 7. So you have a top 7 matchup as they are getting on the road to Tennessee for homecoming against the Tigers. This is a fascinating matchup in many different ways. Excited for Tennessee State over there, getting a chance to really get the total HBCU culture. I wonder if it'll change some minds. We'll see. At number 6, as we continue to move with things, Bethune-Cookman Wildcats, as they stay at number 6, 2-0, 151 points. They stay right there at number 6. They slid the last couple of weeks. They need to find a way to get on the road. We'll see what they do. 151 points. Moving to number 5, Mississippi Valley State, the Mean Green Marching Machine. They slid this week. 3-0, though, on the season, 155 points. They were number 4, but because Jackson State, the Sonic Boom of the South, moved up to number 4 in the rankings after their victory in the Gulf Coast Challenge this past weekend, they move up a spot after improving to 3-1, 2-0 in terms of what they're doing in the conference race, 159 points. Previous rank 5, they are in the mix. At number 3, Texas Southern, the Ocean Soul, 3-0, 2-0, 184 points. Previous rank 3. Might slide after this week, not taking the trip out there to Daytona. It'll be interesting to see that matchup, the Marching Wildcats against the Ocean of Soul. The team is doing charter out there, so it didn't work out. We'll see what that looks like moving forward. And number 2, Southern, the Human Jukebox, of 4-0, 2-0, 3 first-place votes, 197 points. We're not able to have a contest this past weekend, but they remain at number 2. At number 1, Norfolk State Spartan Legion, 4-0, 7 first-place votes, 207 points. Will they be able to maintain that number 1 ranking as they go on the road to a top 7 program in the marching sport poll? Again, the aristocrat of bands, Tennessee State. I'm fascinated, if nothing else, about this matchup. But I know we got to talk about the top 7. So, Mike, I'm going to go with you. What are your thoughts in terms of the marching sport top 7 poll rankings this weekend? Week number 6.
Week number 6. Help me to understand why the jukebox is not in the top 3. Why the aristocrats are not in the top 3. They all played, right? That's the data point. So I just need to understand why they are not in the top 3. I would even argue that Tennessee State needs to be up higher, closer to the top 5.
They didn't play enough matchups. They've been off the last couple of weeks. Nothing their fault in terms of conference affiliation.
Okay, but that's not the case for Southern, right? Or Jackson State.
Yeah, but they were in the band rankings and they had dropped a little bit the previous weeks. But Jackson State just had matchup. They were in the Gulf Coast Classic against Alabama A&M.
Yeah.
They won that matchup, and they actually moved up a spot. Southern was at home, so you can't detract for them because the team didn't come to them. I mean, obviously, in the band world, this is payback because Southern didn't go to FAMU Tallahassee last year, but they at home. They can't travel. You can't punish them for not traveling when they're at home. Now, next week, if they don't get on the road, they'll drop.
Okay. All
Texas
right.
Southern, they got a chance. If they don't have a band matchup, a couple of weeks, they'll drop.
Understood. I'm starting to see somewhat the logic. Don't agree with it. Don't agree with it.
At least you start to see it. Charles, you this man over here with all this privilege, you know what I'm saying? Some of us like you and I had to work for this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We didn't have the privilege of being the ace, you know, of being the man on campus. You know, we worked through that. We had to make folks fall in love with us. You know, we had to create our own style and pathway. Charles, what do you think about the top 7? Because Mike is making me nervous right now.
I'm excited about the Norfolk and Tennessee State matchup, especially with regards to Norfolk. If they getting on the road to go to Nashville, that's going to be fun and exciting. I love Norfolk's presentation. I love their sound, and they're going up against a real battle band. And you know, Tennessee State, they'll be up for it because they after this weekend, there ain't gonna be too many more battles in OVC. So you know, they better make as much hay as they can this weekend. Over the next 4 or 5 weeks, Jackson State has a matchup this weekend with Alabama State. They're going to have a matchup with Mississippi Valley. They're going to have a matchup with UAPB. Texas Southern should be able to roll into Jackson. They got a bunch of competitive matches coming up. So I think that's going to aid both them and Southern in terms of moving up. Texas Southern, same thing. They got an opportunity to keep sliding up there if they get on the road. So, you know, it's going to be huge. But, yeah, I think, you know, we're here at the midpoint of the season. You know, things are starting to kind of shake out, and these battle bands are about to start peeking their heads out over the next 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, to your point, Tennessee State, the best thing they could hope for is to make the playoffs, and then Hampton gets hot, runs the table, wins the Colonial, so they get in. Or Jackson State, you know, continues to win out, and maybe they put them in a position to get an at-large bid, and they face up somehow in the NCAA tournament. That's about the only way you're going to see another matchup.
And again, my caveat every week, band, you have to be that 12th man. You can't fall asleep on third down. That's my thing. That's part of it.
You got to get on the road. You got to travel. You got to be that corner. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Let's get on the other side and get into some of these matchups at the major division level. That does it for week 6 as the Norfolk State Spartan Legion maintains the top spot in the ranking in week number 6, but they put their number 1 ranking on the line this weekend. So keep an eye on that. That game is featured on ESPN Plus in terms of that matchup. Stick with us. We'll be back after this break to give you an update. Fort Valley State has scored. It's 3-0 in that matchup as we go to the break early on in that game. Stick with us. We'll be right back after this break.
You see, Head & Shoulders has Scalp Shield technology, protects against flakes even between washes. It's never not working.
Kind of like us. We're never not working. Number 15?
That's my rub.
Ooh, nice.
Never not working.
Never, ever, never, ever not working.
Welcome, everybody, to Juneau, Alaska.
I don't like this one.
Me neither.
Let's get out of here.
Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
T. Madden & Associates is a sophisticated and experienced law firm located in your neighborhood. We're turning injury to cash.
T. Madden and Associates obtained almost $2 million for my injury. They turned my injury to cash.
Now, we can't guarantee how much your injury is worth, but we've recovered millions for our clients. Call T. Madden and Associates at 833-PAID-123. That's 833-PAID-123.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
When it comes
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want to lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Bill inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We're having fun in the background. We were teasing, trying to have a bet, and I guess I lost it. That Benedict was going to score before we came back from break after that big run. Set it up. I looked down talking about Wildcats up 3-0, and I'm like, ooh, wow. So let's get back into it, some of these key matchups, and we'll keep you updated in terms of this game here. Shout out to Fort Valley, though. They're getting tough on the line. It is 3rd and goal. We'll see what that looks like in terms of the matchup as we get into it. Did they get in? Do they get in? Touchdown.
Yes,
hands up. With that being said, we'll get into this MEAC matchup, which is a non-conference matchup. Orangeburg, South Carolina, Oliver C. Dawson Stadium, Family Community Breast Cancer Awareness. We have a MEAC matchup versus a OVC Big South opponent. You have Tennessee Tech, the Golden Eagles that are 1-4, 0-1 in terms of the conference race. Remember, this is a team at the end of the year played North Carolina Central, and their last matchup was North Carolina Central. Got it done in a come-from-behind victory. Do that. They're on the road at South Carolina State. The Bulldogs are 2-3, won 2 straight. Obviously, after this game, they get into conference play. You look at my indicator in terms of their ranking for me, they would be at number 13. That is the Bulldogs of South Carolina State. Orangeburg, South Carolina, Oliver C. Dawson Stadium, Family Community Breast Cancer Awareness Day. Saturday, October 14, 12:30. It is on ESPN Plus. With that being said, Charles, what are your thoughts in terms of this Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles, South Carolina State Bulldogs? Would this be another continuation where South Carolina State seems like they may have started to right the ship, put themselves in a perfect position to go into conference play the following week? What are your thoughts in terms of this matchup?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with South Carolina State is as Corey Fields goes, so goes this team. And over the past 2 weeks, wins over Citadel and Virginia Lynchburg, he's thrown 6 touchdowns. He's been protecting the football. So they've looked good over the past couple of weeks. Good win over the out-of-conference win over the Citadel. This is going to be an interesting matchup with Tennessee Tech. But like I said, I think defensively, Aaron Smith is going to be right there in the running in terms of MEAC Defensive Player of the Year. He's playing lights-out football. And offensively, what can South Carolina State do? I think we ask that question every year. But like I said, as Corey Fields goes, so goes his team. I'm looking for South Carolina State to get it done at home.
Old buddy Pugh was back to his old ways. He was bigging up the Golden Eagles, Tennessee Tech, and this and that, and how his team, they're playing a little better, but we still looking at wounds from early losses. With that being said, Mike, what are your thoughts on this matchup between the Golden Eagles and the Bulldogs?
I think it's going to build on the South Carolina State offense. You're playing a team that's 1-4 in the OVC. They average 8 points a game. They're weak. They're weak on the offensive side. South Carolina State, they can buckle down, have a good defense. I think they have a solid chance in this game if the offensive play is solid. I think they bring the defense. You've seen what they do against other teams in the MEAC, but if their defense can keep this seemingly weaker OVC team at 1-4, dead last in offensive output, rushing, passing, if they can keep this team at bay, they have a good shot at winning this game. So it's a 50-50, but I think South Carolina State has a shot at winning this one.
Intriguing. Both of y'all say the Bulldogs will find a way to get it done. Let's get into the SWAC. SWAC Major Division Game of the Week goes to Grambling, Louisiana. It is homecoming. Retiring the field with Shaq. Name going on there and Doug in terms of that matchup. Saturday, October 14th, 4:00 p.m. You get a chuckle. You must be thinking about some of the stuff that's out there in the atmosphere about the concerns of the field be named after Doug. One Ken Rashad says, "Not so fast, my friends."
That was intriguing. Very intriguing there.
Yes.
Even though I will shout out, he made some points on there.
Made some great points.
When you're going to make points like that, you truly have to be on point with all your facts, because what happens, people will pick apart your facts versus what you're trying to get across. And one of those things is saying that Grambling gave Doug his start as a head coach. He actually started as a head coach at Morehouse.
Yes.
Maroon Tigers before he came over and got the first stint at Grambling. Go ahead.
Brings up an interesting point, though. I would think, though, that at some point, I mean, Paul Tank Younger, I mean, my goodness, Willie Davis, I was just under the assumption that there had been something done for those gentlemen in regards to their contributions beyond Grambling.
Yeah, I would agree that he made a great point in terms of them needing the accolades, whether it was on the field or something else. I will say this, that we do have to be mindful, because unfortunately it waited so long.
Yeah.
When you're going to make a point of naming something after an individual of that magnitude, one of the things that you got to check with is with their family. You don't want to make the mistake of making the naming and don't get the family involved. So I don't know where they are in terms of the relationship with their family, whether it's been thought about from that perspective. So I think that's something that needs to be considered when you're going to make those decisions, that you just don't name anything after an individual of that magnitude without making sure that their family supports it. And so that's another thing to think about as well. With that being said, let's get on to what's going on in the field. Be interesting to see, as Grambling has been hot. They've won a couple of their last band battles with Alabama A&M, and get back on the road and head to Louisiana for this matchup in terms of the band battle, since we were talking about marching sport. If not, you do have a top 10 major division matchup this week. It features in the indicator a number 10 Alabama A&M Bulldogs that has failed to number 10 after their loss on the road in Mobile for that Gulf Coast Classic Challenge there. They fall to 3-3, 1-2 overall. They're at number 6, Grambling State Tigers, 3-3. They also failed after a tough road loss to the Braves during their homecoming. So they're 3-3, 2-1 on the season. This is, again, Eddie G. Robinson Memorial Stadium. 4:00 kickoff. It'll be fascinating to see what it looks like in this matchup. Both of these teams want to get a win under their belt again after just taking tough losses. So with that being said, sticking with you, Mike, what are your thoughts of this matchup between Alabama A&M and Grambling?
At face value, to be honest, I give the edge to Grambling if it's the Grambling that beat PV, TSU show up. Miles Crawley, quarterback for Grambling State, has a solid game. Grambling's defense has been a little suspect, and discipline-wise, they've lost it or not been consistent over the course of several games. But if it's that Grambling that beat PV, that beat Texas Southern, and Miles Crawley has a nice game, you look at on the offensive side, they're scoring 32 points a game. They do have, when they can play, when they decide to play, when they realize that we're in the football game. So rushing, you got Chance Williams, who's number 2 or 3 in the SWAC in rushing. I give the edge at home to Grambling on that momentous occasion, that for those very reasons.
Yep, as you talk about Crawley, he had 3 interceptions. One of them probably wasn't his fault. You may argue 2, but he probably wants to bounce back. The other part of this is the East-West matchup, Charles, that you always remind us that is heavily weighted to the East over the last couple of years and trending in that direction this year. A little closer this far but in the first year it was early on close as well. We'll see if that maintains. And then you have the fact that both of these teams have losses. It probably looks like the Bulldogs are outside of being able to make it up. But the fact is they do have FAMU ahead of them. So if FAMU stubs their toe, then they got a little room, and they certainly need this matchup. But you talk about the West, you know how deep it is. You have 4 teams with 1 loss. You even have Texas Southern with only 2 losses, and as well as Pine Bluff for that fact. So not a lot of room for error for Grambling. What direction are you going in terms of this matchup when you look at not only in terms of those things, East versus West, as well as the Western Division? Where are you going on this matchup in terms of all those factors?
Well, I take a look at a lot of things. I think Mike touched on it in regards to the play of Miles Crowley. It needs to be a bounce back game for him. I think going into the Alcorn game, he only had 1 interception on the season, but 2 interceptions last week against Alcorn. 3 interceptions, if I'm not mistaken, against Alcorn. So it has to be a big bounce back game for Miles Crowley. And then the second part of it is Grambling's homecoming. They got to put on a show, and especially when them Grambling football alumni come back, you know, the eyes be all on top of the team in that regard. So you definitely want to see a big bounce back against Alabama A&M. And then the thing I take a look at with Alabama A&M is quarterback play, crisis of confidence. I mean, Quincy Casey gets to start last week, doesn't have a good outing. He's pulled for Xavier Langford. What impressed me last week, at least about Alabama A&M, is the fight that they showed after being down 35-7 at halftime, and they seemed to really get some things going against Jackson State in the second half. But are we going to see the Alabama A&M team? And that for that reason, I'm going to go with Grambling in this one. I think it's a bounce back game. This is an explosive offense, a lot of playmakers. Floyd Chalk, Chance Williams, Lyndon Rash is probably one of the most elusive receivers. He constantly finds gaps in defenses and whatnot with regards to Grambling's receiving core. So if you're just looking at playmakers, I got to go with Grambling because I have not seen what I thought I was going to see with Alabama A&M, and that was this running game with Donovan Eagle. He has yet to get off the season.
Good stuff there. If we can, I want to pull up the matchup rankings and get into that last slide here. You have your front runners. You see in the front seat here. We talked a little bit about this on Sunday, but I want to go back in there. I think it's the perfect time, at least for these 2 teams, because they really have been above everybody else in a lot of ways. And one thing is both of them happen to be off this weekend, open in terms of their schedule. In a lot of ways, FAMU is at the halfway mark, midterm grades, if you would, in terms of what that looks like. Same with Central, except for the fact that they hadn't even started conference play, but that's the back end, last 5 games of the season. Going back to you, Charles, in terms of this, do you see these teams clearly as the front runner? And what are some things that will concern you about either or both programs as they try to close out the season to get that elusive bid for the FAMU SWAC championship game and then the Celebration Bowl, and obviously in the MEAC straight to the Celebration Bowl?
Yeah, I think definitely these teams are the front runners. If there's a red flag for me, at least with FAMU, it's their rushing attack. And you got to pack a running game, especially when you go on the road. And I pointed to this matchup coming out to Houston, taking on Texas Southern team. Texas Southern's record is not indicative of the talent that I think that they have on the team, and that could be an interesting game to watch. But I think they're definitely the front runners. With regards to North Carolina Central, you get into playoff football over the next few weeks, especially getting into MEAC play, and all those teams are going to be coming for North Carolina Central. There is no room to stub your toe in MEAC. So what they put out on film thus far, they have looked tremendous. But I do think once you get into conference play, you know, the margin of error is still very thin. So they just have no room to stub their toe.
To Charles's point, last year Central got a major break because they actually lost to South Carolina State Bulldogs, and the Bulldogs fell off the map, literally, which allowed them to run the table the rest of the way in the conference and represent the conference. And boy, did they. But with that being said, that's not something I think will happen often in terms of the MEAC when you talk about a 5-game conference schedule. As Charles alluded to also, in many ways, it's like a mini playoffs. Do you see these two at the front runner? And when you think about Charles' comment, can anybody get it done? Can Howard rise up? That game is in D.C. against the Eagles in terms of them being the leader of the pack coming out of the MEAC.
You talking to me or
that's Mike?
That was me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I guess yes, I think these two are the front runners without question. If there's anything that makes me scratch my head, or think about it, I think I look at FAMU, and I said this on one of your shows earlier. In the game against Southern, they showed some fallacies. They showed some kinks in the armor. Southern's defensive line had a field day with FAMU. Also, you look at statistically, I think CB alluded to this. It's hard to stay number one when you're 10th in the SWAC in rushing, but number one in passing. It's hard to stay that way. So what's going to happen with that? So those are not that they can't, but things that make you go, on any given day, can they catch the wrong SWAC West team? I say wrong SWAC team, maybe an Alcorn, maybe a Prairie View, that has a really good day. So with North Carolina Central, I think they were suspect to me. That sudden punch in the mouth from South Carolina State. South Carolina State, for some reason, I'm not a MEAC expert, but that defense, they play them tough and they will hit them in the mouth. Historically, they have done it. So that's not as much of a concern as what I say with the FAMU team that I've seen there. I saw kinks in the armor when they played Southern, even though they were on the road. They may play better at home. I get it. But still, number 10, that being number 10th in the SWAC in rushing, but number one in passing, that's too much of an imbalance for me.
Good stuff. Brandon King is checking us out. Silas Edward McMorris, Edward D. Moore is in the house. Jeff Roberts, giving them some love. Theron Waters, Wendy Jenkins Bishop, G. Boom Holly, and the rest of y'all lab listeners. Appreciate you showing up and showing out. With that being said, thank you for listening inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, coming from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Watson and Charles Bishop. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Bill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Watson, Charles Bishop, every Tuesday and Thursday right here at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. We also look forward to you on Sunday at 9 o'clock as we get you ready for the weekend and tell you what took place on Saturday. We look forward to this weekend as we discuss the latest news in the lab and let you know what took place again this overall weekend. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. That's DrKenyattaCavil. That's on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on Twitter, Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on Facebook and YouTube. Dream big. Continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. Charles?
Of course.
Mike?
Lecture.
Dismiss.